What is up, fight fans? Good afternoon. It's a lovely sunny Sunday in the UK, and I just want to give you a quick download on last night's fight card from Dubai. It's very sunny, very bright. I'm actually going to put this over here. So yeah, Kubrat Pulev versus Murat Gassiev. Kubrat Pulev was the WBA regular heavyweight title holder, and he got knocked out last night. Yes, he got knocked out by former unified cruiserweight champion Murat Gassiev. Not the most active of fighters, Murat Gassiev, for whatever reasons, promotional, injuries, whatever. But he looked good last night, albeit against an old, somewhat faded Kubrat Pulev. At least he can kind of potentially ride off into the sunset knowing that he was a world champion. But yeah, he was knocked out in the 6th round by Gassiev. A mean punch ended it, and he didn't look very good throughout the fight. I think he's 44 years old, father time, keeping the clock, and Gassiev he's got bad intentions. The younger fighter, the more kind of athletic of the two. Pulev's a big lump. He's got a big right hand. But yeah, so I think what's really interesting is to see what happens next. What could we see from Gassiev next, and who would we see Gassiev fighting next? That for me is a very interesting prospect. There's a lot of fighters, a lot of big heavyweights that could make a really tasty matchup with him. So yeah, I want to see who they match him up with next. Probably do another video on that. Okay, so into the next fight, which is extremely disappointing for me as a South African. I'm a big fan of Tulani Mbenge, and unfortunately the two-time IBA welterweight champion, he was knocked out by Vadim Musuev. Look out for him. I'll do a video on him too. He looks like the real deal. Bad intentions, real hard guy. He dropped Mbenge in the 2nd round and finished him off in the 3rd round. So, devastating. He came there to do the business, and he got the job done. He ripped the title from Mbenge. We'll see Mbenge again. He'll rebuild on the South African scene. Probably have a few fights, and then he'll campaign at world level again. He's a really good fighter. He's got all the foundational skills, and he's still young, so there's still a lot to see from him. Then an interesting one, Bahadur Usmanov versus Maxi Hughes. That went to a majority decision in the favor of Usmanov. I think 2 judges scored the fight pretty widely in favor of Usmanov. Maxi Hughes is a good fighter. This is a lightweight WBA eliminator, and yeah, we'll see a lot more of Usmanov. Hopefully he gets his title shot next. Maxi Hughes will have to rebuild. He's been in some major scraps, some really fan-friendly fights, but yeah, not much kind of to comment there. I think the way I saw it was, yeah, the draw is kind to Hughes. I think Usmanov did what he needed to do, and just kind of panel beated him throughout the fight. Then there was Duard Aliyev. He retired David Penalosa. Penalosa being kind of coming from a famous boxing family. He's a really popular fighter, and yeah, unfortunately he was retired last night by a guy who also looks to be a future world champion. Really solid foundation boxing skills, and he kind of broke Penalosa down, and didn't really have much business being in the ring with him, to be honest. Yeah, so that leads me on to the last fight on the card that I was really interested in, was the grandson. Obviously he carries the big weight of being Muhammad Ali's grandson, but this is Nico Ali Walsh. He's had an up and down career, but he got a nice victory last night by a guy by the name of Jeremiah Sawadin. Forgive me if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. But yeah, he got the stoppage win over him in a middleweight contest. So yeah, they're still building him up. You know, I think they've taken a few risks with him, and there's been a few fights where he should have won. I think he got a draw in his last fight in the Philippines, in Manila, the Thriller in Manila's anniversary fight. It was actually November last month. So you know, he's back at it. You know, he's stacking his resume. But yeah, I don't really know much else about him. He's a very up and down fighter from what I've seen, at least based on his record. Yeah, so for me, the big highlights of the card was the Gassiev is announcing himself as a kind of new contender. He's got some silverware now. He's got a strap to his name, and I think he can attract a big name fight in the future. And yeah, I want to see what comes from Usmanov, and also Vadim Masuev, who looks really, really strong. I think a couple more fights and we could see him in a big welterweight scrap. Maybe a fight against Conor Walker, very dangerous, but that would be one interesting fight I'd love to see. Anyway, like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Who do you think any of these top boxers should fight next, especially Gassiev? Do we see a Gassiev-Usyk fight in the future? Kind of a rematch from the World Boxing Series super fight at cruiserweight. That was a good few years ago. So yeah, let me know. Let me know what you think of the channel. Please subscribe if you like my stuff. And yeah, have a lovely Saturday going forward. All the best, everyone.